Justin the Diabetic, and my co-host back here in the background, Shadow, and Diamond is out of the camera view. I'm sure she'll pop up here in a second. She's looking out the window. So anyway, this week's video is going to be about the response that I got from Medtronic on my 770G BG require alert video that was posted a couple weeks ago. So if you've been following along, I've been trying to see what Medtronic will say about it. Over the past couple months, I've heard things of make sure you use both of your Medtronic supplied tape to secure the sensor. It could be issues with you laying on the sensor, causing interstitial fluid to move away, stuff like that. Sensor location, hydration, all the things that I typically tell you tips and tricks for your sensor. Medtronic has pretty much kind of like blamed me for the sensor. So I expected to get something similar, but I kind of chuckle because what I did get was something that I didn't expect to get. So let's dive into it. So on March the 4th, so that's been 2 days ago, I received an email from Medtronic's chief engineer for automatic insulin delivery. Basically, he was passed by video and he watched it, and he said he would like to discuss my experiences, so firsthand, and see what matters to me, as well as peek into the upcoming 780G system. And new features they're introducing to help address my concerns. So the concerns is the 770G has a safety loophole that could be very risky for some users. In the fact that if you get booted from auto mode and into manual mode and your basal rate is just a little too much, or you don't need the insulin you need, there's no safety feature to suspend your insulin delivery. So that's a major concern that I have for the 770G system, which I have heard from somebody who relayed the information from the head of research and development for Medtronic that is going to secretly kind of be fixed with the 780G. So if in manual mode on the 780G you have suspend before low active, it will remain active when you go to auto mode and then get kicked out, which is something I think that they should have had from the beginning. So basically, if you guys have been following along, I've pretty much made up my mind. I'm going to switch to some other insulin type pump therapy. I'm still waiting on some more information from the Omnipod 5. Right now, that looks to be where I'm going. The Omnipod 5 with the Dexcom G6. So anyway, I responded and said, I just want to know what's causing the sensor algorithm underread. My sensors are secured with both provided Medtronic tapes. I've also tried several different site locations. Both the pump and the transmitter have been replaced, and I'm still receiving the error. I'm aware that the 780G will resolve most of the issues that I pointed out in my video. My main concern is this error and how can I resolve it. I said the little time that I have left on the pump, manual mode will do just fine for me, but I personally know a lot of people who follow me who are having similar issues. So the response that I got back was this, and I'm going to read it word for word. Regarding the frequency of the sensor underread alerts, it appears to be related to the auto mode algorithm having a difficult time adapting to your particular insulin needs. The algorithm has a general glucose predictor built into it that tries to estimate where your glucose should be based on recent insulin delivery. If your sugar value drops below or significant below the predicted values and persists to be below the prediction for 30 minutes, the system will declare an under-reading sensor and promote you for a BG to verify that the sensor is accurate. The glucose predictor is adjusted on your particular insulin needs using an estimate of your fasting glucose and plasma insulin at the time of fasting. For most people, their fasting glucose and fasting plasma insulin are fairly stable throughout the day, which leads to an accurate glucose prediction model. However, in your case, it looks like there are periods of large fasting variation, which introduces introduces variability in the glucose predictor. Unfortunately, there is no good solution for this in your particular case. I can tell you that your pump and sensor appear to be functioning properly, and this behavior is not related to your sensor location or taping. It has to do with the algorithm unable to consistently adapt to your unique physiology. So, not the response that I expected, but the way that I'm taking this is that my algorithm for my basically cash price of $8,000 insulin pump that is supposed to adjust to my insulin needs isn't. Most of the time when I have this alert, I am fasting for almost a 24-hour period, and my blood glucose typically is extremely stable in the 100 to 120 range. So I don't understand why the algorithm is having problems adapting to me. I don't typically have this. I'll just come out and say it. I don't have this issue when I eat 300 plus grams of carbs a day and I bolus a crap ton of insulin. This doesn't happen. So why, when I'm trying to do what's best for my overall diabetes health, is this insulin pump not doing what's right for me? I think based on the feedback that I've heard from many of you guys who follow along, you're in the same boat that I am. You're trying to manage your diabetes, your blood sugars, you're trying to get the best numbers that you can with auto mode, and then this pump starts to malfunction, and you're constantly getting BG alerts. You're constantly having to calibrate your sensor. I'm sorry, but it's gotten to the point where Medtronic needs to do better. I have been an ambassador for a little over, or about 2 years now, and Medtronic is trying to innovate, but at this point, they're going to drive away all of their customers. I'm sorry, but that's just that's just the total truth of it. The number of people that I see fleeing Medtronic pumps and going to a different system, it's kind of explaining why. I mean, look at them now. The FDA is holding the approval for the 780G in the United States because they didn't properly do the recall for the clear reservoir retainer ring on the 670G. So if your insulin pump has a clear ring on the top of it, that is a safety recall, and you need to contact Medtronic to get you a new pump that has the black ring. So, like, really, guys? I mean, I'm sorry, this is extremely frustrating for me, and I hate it for people who are on year 1 or year 2 of a 4-year warranty and they're stuck with their Medtronic system and they can't get rid of it. I luckily started having these issues towards the end of my pump warranty, and I mean, I don't get it. How can an insulin pump constantly be failing its own algorithm upwards of 3 or 4 times a day? It makes no sense to me. My 670G did do this, but it didn't do it nowhere near as often as the 770G does. So, I mean, I don't know. It's extremely frustrating for me, and I have kind of about had it with all of it in general. If you've been following along, you know that I have went back to manual mode, and I'm trying to work out my basal rates and my stuff like that, and that's been going extremely well for me. But this automated system on this 770G is just, it's got to the point where it blows my mind at how faulty it seems to be working. I mean, yeah, it's going to do its job. Your A1C is going to go up a little because it's going to keep your blood sugars in the upper of your time in range. That's particularly what... Okay, sorry, I got a phone call and I lost my train of thought, so I have to get back to it. But like I was saying, I've done auto mode and I've done manual mode over the past year, and it's obvious that auto mode, I mean, you can get an A1C of the low 7s if that's what you want and that's what you're comfortable with. When I did manual mode last summer, I was easily able to achieve about a 6.5 A1C, and I think that's what a lot of people want. They want that mid-6 number. Some people can get it with the 770G. I'm not sure how, because when I try to get it, I get these errors and these alerts, and I think that's the real frustrating aspect of it, is that, I mean, we get these insulin pumps and the CGMs and all this technology to better our lives, to make diabetes easier, and it's not. I mean, you're getting woken up in the middle of the night. You can't get more than a couple hours of sleep. I don't realize it. You know, when I finally left auto mode a couple weeks ago, I kept complaining at how tired I was. And I didn't realize what the problem was. And, you know, I was trying to sleep. I was getting about 8 hours of sleep a night. I was constantly trying to be well rested. And then I switched back to manual mode, and it's changed. It's different. I'm not getting a pump alert constantly while I'm trying to sleep, because the pump's having problems or this and that. And it's just, I guess, you know, you don't realize something that's supposed to make our lives better makes our lives a living hell. And I am going to just come out and say it. Some of you guys understand that. You're constantly getting woken up with the alerts and this and that this pump wants. And, you know, I'm done with it. I mean, I've been with Medtronic for 7 years. I was on the Omnipod for 3 years before that. And, I mean, I enjoyed the Omnipod. I had no real complaints about it. People talk about the pod malfunctions and the screaming pods and stuff like that. And, you know, everything, infusion sets don't work sometimes with normal pumps, or you rip them out and they have their own problems. But I feel that hopefully the Omnipod is a lot more aggressive with its algorithm. And based on kind of some of their research data, I feel that that's the case. If not, I will have suspend before low, and I can do a manual mode function with the Omnipod, once the 5's released and they're partnered with the Dexcom. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. I could start the Omnipod Dash and the Dexcom now, but I have an endocrinologist appointment at the beginning of next month, so I want to talk it over with her. Kind of have to bribe her, I guess, to let me do the Omnipod, because the Omnipod rep here is apparently a joke and useless totally, and she doesn't want to do business with Omnipod for that particular reason. So, yeah, I gotta kind of like figure all that out and have my obstacles for that, but I'm excited for the future and hope that things get better. I'd like the auto mode ability with a pump, as long as it works. Because, you know, my lifestyle is constantly, sometimes I'm on days, sometimes I'm on nights. So kind of that's what I'm looking for. I like something that can adapt and just kind of keep me where I need to be. So anyway, I rambled long enough. That's this week's video. If you are still with me, I want you to comment. If you've had problems with your Medtronic pump, just say, I've had problems, and what it was, BGs, calibrations, stuff like that. And I hope that when Medtronic's ambassadors watch this and they start to share it with other people at Medtronic, it's a running dialogue of all the complaints, that I'm not just the only one, that there are many of you that constantly have issues. So I challenge you guys to do that, to just drop comments and kind of go crazy down there. But until then, I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.